Hey everybody, Dr. Howard Cohn here with the BioStacking Summit 4.0. So excited about this conversation right now with the one and only Kim Ressler. Now, this story is great. There are a lot of stories that you hear throughout the summit of people that have come to natural health care, come to like what we would call answering a calling, because unfortunately or fortunately at the end of the day of their own struggle. And what I find categorically is the people that are really providing next level care and next level services are people that can relate because they have lived through it. And Kim Ressler is one such person. Lots of success in the world, didn't need to be doing this, didn't need to go and do what it takes to create not just a genetic company, but a nutrition company and really bring it to the world at scale at an affordable price. But she's doing it. And the reason she's doing it is I'm going to have her tell her story because when we first sat down and I heard about what she was doing, in the beginning, it's not the first time somebody's pitched me on a genetic company or a supplement company or shared with what they're doing. But as soon as I started to hear about her story, how it turned her around, and her mission-based and heart-centered, not transactional-centered way with people, then I'm like, she's just somebody I wanted to work with, know more about, and really bring what she's doing to this community, because I think, in my opinion, she's a Robin Hooding the genetic world and making it simple. My favorite thing, if you follow me before, health made simple is my thing. Anybody that makes it simple. And then the next thing after simplicity is cost effective. Meaning, if people can't afford to do it, guess what? They're not going to do it. And, when looking at sharing genetic testing with people, a lot of times it's been lackluster, and it's real frustrating when they pay a lot of money and they don't get a lot of results. So, long intro, Kim Ressler. How did we get here? Tell us about how you went from all the cool things you were doing to jumping in this health world with these crazy people like us and bringing it to the world.
Well, first, Dr. Cohn, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here with you. In reality, Cohn Institute just carries such an amazing. People talk so highly of what you do, so the opportunity to work with you is great. But what happened? It was 2007. I was pregnant with my baby girl, who's now 17, and they saw some interesting things in my blood work. But I wasn't having any symptoms at that point. That was the beginning of the beginning of my health journey. After the delivery of my daughter, I'm just going to say, there's so many of us out there that I didn't feel good. They were like, "Oh, you've got postpartum depression." I'm like, "I don't have postpartum depression. I don't feel well." In the meantime, it was doctor after doctor, blood work after blood work, and all my blood work looked normal. And I would walk away feeling defeated. So I started trying alternative therapies. You name it, I tried it. Nutrition, diet, Ayurveda, vegan. I was trying everything, different naturopaths, etc. In 2014, I learned that genetics, a girlfriend of mine had told me, they've told me my son's ADHD. I refuse to put him on medication. I think it's something in his genetics. And I said, "You've got to keep me posted of this." I wasn't living we had moved out of state for a few years, so I couldn't see the same doctor that she was seeing. And I said, "But you have to keep me posted." Within a few months, 9 months and $10,000, that's what she spent. Night and day, she told me, night and day difference. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if this could be, because in the meantime of all of these years, the fatigue, the chronic gut issues, the terrible sleep, the achy joints, everything kept compounding. So in 2018, when I was getting ready to start an entire, and go through an entire genetic mapping, this technology literally, I feel, was gifted to me. And I was like, wait, I can simply map genetics, but not just map genetics, because that's not what SNiP does. We don't just come in and map actionable genes. We come in and we give a solution for them. But when I saw this technology and I tried it, I thought, oh my gosh, this has got to be a placebo effect. I felt different than I had in years. And I was like, okay, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop and for it to come back, because I had already tried, you name it, multiple, like I said, multiple modalities, multiple things. I think that's the thing. We're on that hamster wheel of trying to see what works for us. Your genetics are you. It's what you've been gifted. And by the end of 4 months, taking a personalized, customized just to my genetics, I had felt better than I had felt in 11 years. I still continued to feel amazing. And I didn't even know that I was not dealing with one, but two autoimmunes. I didn't know that until 2020, and then the second one in 2022. And so I keep them, I guess you would say for me, I keep them at bay. I think my blood work looks amazing, but I think that's the thing is we've got to match symptoms with blood work. We've got to bring it together. And we make understanding your genetics simple, and we're all about the solution. So that customized formula just for you, it's not meant to be the end all be all, but it's meant to support all these systems of the body to get your body to do what it needs to do. The body's
So
an
I want to
amazing thing. So go ahead.
yes, yes. Thank God. I want to talk about the test, and I also want to talk about the uniqueness of the process of creating the supplement and how it differs from everything else. So let's start with the test, because if you're a doctor or practitioner listening, it shouldn't be your first rodeo in looking at genetic testing or epigenetic testing, and you may have spent a lot of money on different tests. You have some companies that don't give you a lot of information. I mean, they don't test a lot of SNPs. You test a lot of SNPs. And then you have other ones that say we test tens of thousands of things, which are really not exactly SNPs, but they're other things, if you will. Can you explain the terrain for the confused consumer? Because it's very claim ridden, this space. And it's very, I know it's not about throwing dirt, it's about where is the missing information? Where is the over bloated salesmanship? And also people want to know, how the heck is she doing it? Because there's, like we call, the marketplace for these tests has been artificially, in my opinion, I'll say it so you don't have to, inflated. So whether it's so that doctors and people can get paid out affiliate codes, who the heck knows? Don't hate the player, hate the game, but it is. People are hungry for the information, so spending $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 for genetic tests at certain longevity clinics, root cause clinics, all the different buzzwords, whatever. And yet here comes this Kim Ressler, and for $297 is going to give you more information and not leave you taking 19 supplements, not leave you with 14 pages of things you could find out on Instagram anyway. Get more sunlight, get more water, do the things. But, and there's other people out there in the past that I've seen that have given a shot at creating a supplement, and then those supplements are the same for everybody, and maybe they change one or two methylated ingredients, maybe a methylated B12, folic acid, and that's the only difference. So that's a lot there. How are we doing it? How is it
So
happening?
let's start with genetics. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
In reality, we're not going to become geneticists, right? That's one. 99% of the doctors out there are not going to become geneticists. They're just not. Okay. If you truly have a serious genetic a disease, you're going to see a geneticist. We are doing this for health span, longevity, feeling good, right? All right, so let's start with genetics and genetics 101. We have actionable genes and non-actionable genes, okay? The non-actionable genes, like maybe your propensity to have a unibrow or your hair color, I don't care about those. What's that going to do for you, right? It's not going to do anything. What I care about are actionable and specifically nutritionally actionable. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's cut that down and make it really simple. Science has proven there are genes that are related to detox pathways, heart health, as we know, methylation, so many people are talking about it, oxidative stress, etc., that are nutritionally actionable. Those are the ones I care about. Those are the ones, and we went after heavy hitting ones that impact all of these different body systems: mood, cognitive function, energy, gut health, body mass index, etc. And we group them all together, right? And these are nutritionally actionable. Science has proven there is specific plant-based nutrition, vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, with the right cofactors in the right dose that can literally when you have those variants, remember the beautiful thing about genetic testing, it's one and done, right? When your genes aren't going to change, but I specifically want nutritionally actionable genes that I can give you a solution on. So I take that
Right.
information, I make it simple to understand. It's written in a way that you understand, here's my strengths and here's my weaknesses. It's that sifter. Most of our providers are like, this is just my sifter. I can actually see where to focus with a client, right? So then, is that good enough? Okay, and then we don't nickel and dime on the DNA reports. Okay, and I think that's really important to understand. I give you everything I have access to for $297. We test 103 actionable genes. There is a code report that lines up exactly how we formulate, and then we break that into body systems. In those body system reports, we give you a lot of lifestyle hacks. We all know that we need to eat clean. We need fresh water. We need a good mindset, our connection to our higher source. I mean, we know all of this, right? I'm a spoke, but I'm a simple spoke because I take all this information. I tell you exactly what. You can see where your weaknesses are so that if you are still struggling, you can dive into one of those body system reports like detox. We just had that happen recently. We had a client, 19 years, been sick. She's seen, I mean, doctor. She got into a report and she said, I've got a lot of detox markers. At the end of the report, it says there's lifestyle tips, but then it says, if you're still struggling, consider requesting these labs from your provider. No, but and one of them was mold.
Mm-hmm.
19 years, not even a naturopath that she had seen looked at mold toxicity, and she went back to them. So we want to educate both doctors and primarily consumers that you're in charge of your health. We're just giving you information about you. Now you can go ask more questions simply and easily. So then,
So,
go
okay,
ahead.
keep going.
I was
No,
going to say, well, then we move it to the
you
product.
go.
When you do the standard way of doing DNA test is then oh, take this. But then if you have this, don't take that. And then you're left in confusion. And then you're at 20, 30. I've seen people that have done genetic mapping upwards of 70 supplements a day. Wow. I'm sorry. Time, energy, effort. I mean, for foundational health, that's just not necessary. So I think what's so beautiful is we've nailed it for all of these. It's a whole food based product. Our body recognizes food. We need those micronutrients and then the cofactors. So if you're sitting there trying to piecemeal it all together, that's maddening. So that's what we ultimately take and do is put it into one supplement for 22 heavy hitting actionable SNPs, all backed by peer reviewed science, over 600 studies of why we do exactly what we do, and we just keep advancing it.
I love it. So yeah, the process, again, we talked about, I'm loving simple. If it's complicated, people are going to do it. A confused mind does nothing. So, I mean, you walked me through it because, I wanted to explain properly, but I don't think the whole test, swab in the kit, seal it up, get it ready to send off. If it took 35 seconds, that was just probably me going slow. Am I accurate in saying that? That's kind of how it went down, right?
Pretty much. I mean, well, I would recommend that you would swab for at least 30 to 45 seconds on each cheek. And we do
We
two
did do that.
swabs.
We did.
But other than that, yeah,
Okay.
it is a swab internal left, a swab good right with two separate vials into the, or two separate sticks and into the vials, back to the lab. Yep. It's simple. It's simple to reveal your strengths and weaknesses just to tell you where. I mean, everybody talks about biohacking. How can you biohack unless you know what you're biohacking?
Yeah. So let's talk about, so I did my test and in a very short time, I got this magical box in the mail and it says SNiP on it. It was super cool. And then I have all the list of like, this is like, Santa's list here of things in it. And then I have this super cool supplement right here. Here we go, code complete. And then look at that, my name on it, my code, so I know it's mine, which is great. It takes time, energy, and money to do these things. Listen, I'm in the nutrition world, so I know. So this is awesome. And then you open them up, and there they are, simple, easy. Now, the last time I did a genetic test, and I've done several, I think once after the analysis, I needed at least 7 different supplements where I'm taking at least 2 of those a day, somewhere upwards of 4 in a day. If we do that math, I mean, that's like 30 something pills, and that's the minimum. The people that come in here from their functional medicine doctor, their naturopath, their holistic chiropractor, whatever it is, and they have literally 30 to 40 bottles of things that they might be actively taking. It's insane. People have pill fatigue. So now, some people said, it's simple. You go, oh, it's a lot. You're like, I take 5 in the morning and 5 at night or later in the day, and I had one person the other day, it was hilarious, said, oh, that's a lot. I'm like, a lot? Compared to what? You brought 14 bottles in here 3 months ago. They're like, oh, yeah, I guess I was taking a lot then. Yeah, and this is like, you're not taking 14 things. You're taking this, and it's doing the heavy lifting on the majority of things you need to really help support the uniqueness, let's say, of you that God created. So, I mean, genetics is a loaded gun. This is the epigenetic factors, the air, the water, the food. But, we want to make it harder and harder to pull that trigger. And when I explain to patients, this is what that does. This really takes your hand off the trigger so that you don't shoot yourself. So, tell us about, like, this is great. I mean, this is great. This is simple. I mean, I did the math because that's what I do, because people are going to ask me. And I'm like, my daily dose is less than the price of your Venti mocha at Starbucks. So obviously it's cost effective because people are somehow paying for that mold-ridden coffee. We're going to have to edit that for the Starbucks people. But anyway.
You're saying it all for me. I mean, you are hitting all the key points.
Yeah, so just nod your head and say yes. No, so what, simple guy, try to keep it simple for people, but there's a lot of complexity that's been pushed in there. So elaborate, if you will.
So we started with the science, and
Yeah.
we started with these actionable genes that, maybe it's artichoke extract and bilberry extract, whatever. There's whole foods in there. It's not
Yeah.
just vitamins and minerals.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think if you want to talk, let's talk about ingredients. Ingredients are really important, right? You want to know
Yes.
where they're sourced. You want to know that they're clean. We start with the raws. The raws are the individual ingredients. They get third-party tested. No mold spores, toxins, pesticides, etc. Our product is non-GMO. Then we make blends based on each of these genes. The blends are completely listed for you in your report, so you can see. And then after that, when we make those blends, we send it for third-party testing again. And then
Great.
every single time you custom order your product, as you said, there are companies out there that say they are customizing. No, I can make one of 3 billion formulas. Your formula is made after you order it. It has to be. It is all tied in. We've built this amazing, it recognizes your results. The only place your name gets attached to anything is in your dynamic reports, but it gets attached there, and then I send it off to the machine. I call the machine that is going to the microgram dose for you. And your name is on the jar. And that product, before I ship it to you, has to go out for third-party batch testing for the 3rd time.
Wow.
So you said you did the numbers. I took my formula into a compounding pharmacy, and I said, will you make it for me? Can you make this for me? And they said, sure, leave this here. We'll get back to you in a couple days. They called me. We can make this formula for you for $650 some odd dollars. And we're still missing a few of the ingredients. And I was like, so that's the thing. It's dosing and all of these different nutrients. It's just a beautiful, powerful product. I don't know. You've said so many things to make it so simple. I hope that just kind of lines out a little bit more for people.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Again, it's the simplicity, and obviously it's something you mentioned, your genetics or your genetics, so it's something you're going to stay on. It's something you're going to want to stay on. You've made it simple for people to get it monthly. Maybe you could talk about that process too. And again, you're going to know the first time. I mean, not everybody feels everything all the time, but if you got a lot of things going on and you're not addressing them, you're going to feel it. I mean, I definitely felt like things were lit up that were either not lit or dim when I took it, and I take a lot of things. So, doctors are probably your biggest challenge because they're so used to taking shit that they're like, I don't feel anything, So, yeah, I mean, it's,
That's a good point. So, um, I did have a provider that we've been working with for over 2 years. And when she first heard it, she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is finally here. Personalization. You really can, but is this really real? And do you really personalize?" So she decided to try it herself and one of her patients. And about it takes a couple weeks to get your DNA reports. Your product is custom compounded for you once it's ordered, so that takes a little time as well. But about 3 weeks as they're on the product, I get a call from the doctor, and she says to me, "I have been practicing." She's a chiropractor, a nutritionist, multiple modalities is what she does, right? She said, "I had to question if this worked." She said, "This is the wildest thing I've ever seen. In over 30 years of nutrition and everything that I do, I am physically seeing inflammation come out of my friend's body. I have never seen anything like this." And, so I think that's the thing is, we're ready for personalization. It's here. It's here. We can do it. They say it's going to be the gold standard by 2030. We just have the ability to do it now.
So, I mean, it's exciting times, and you're always have your foot on the pedal, and you have a great science advisory team that are looking to see that as we awaken, discover, know other things, genetics, that those things are rolling into SNiP Nutrition.
Absolutely.
So,
We're big about education. I mean, we do a lot of education. Um, you know, there are there are so many actionable genes. I formulate on the heaviest hitters, but if you're really struggling, we do test and we reveal information. We make really simple, quick reference guides of so you can dive deeper if that's what you need to do. But for my husband, he says, "You know what? I just love that I know it's made for me, and I don't have to guess anymore. And this is what I take."
so great, so great. So, simple, it's cost effective, they're easy to take. So, how does somebody do it? Like, where do they get started? Where do they get started with SNiP Nutrition?
So they're going to go to www.snipnutrition.com. They are going to order a DNA test kit and have it shipped right to their house. When you do that, you are setting up an account. Once you get the DNA test kit, you're going to take that, like you said, 2 minutes to swab, do the consent, and send it in. So snipnutrition.com. And then once your results are delivered, that is when you can order your customized. If you want to put yourself on a subscription at the time, we offer one-time orders and subscription orders. And the beautiful thing about our subscription is we don't lock you in. We want people to give their bodies 4 months on the product at minimum. And what we see, and we've been tracking, most people, I've been on the product for 7 years. I won't miss a day of it. But most people, they're sticking with it. Why? Because it is simple and it's very cost effective from what they were doing before with a ton of bottles.
I'm glad you're doing 4 months. I mean, we always teach people, it depends who you read, but it's been said that the lifespan of a red blood cell is 120 days, which is 4 months. If you want to cycle out your old crappy blood and create new, like change the oil, if you will, it's going to be dependent on what you're doing consistently. And really, with all the great stories, the things that are happening with people over those 4 months, and now adding the right things, supporting their detox pathways, controlling oxidate, all the different things. The best thing we find, and I'm sure you can agree, is month 5. If they didn't get on an auto ship of it when they run out, they go, "Oh, I feel like shit again." I guess it's not my yoga class and my Pilates or the fact I went, paleo carnivore, or that I started doing Joe Dispenza's meditation. It's really that SNiP stuff, right? So maybe you can speak, you tell me a story, which was really great because, listen, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things we can be doing. And when you do something like this, it really is a labor of love because you're up against a sea of mis and disinformation. You're trying to make something something simple. You're trying to make it cost effective. You're trying to do all these things. And there are these cases and stories that remind us that we're not doing a job, we're not doing a business, but we're answering a calling. And you had shared, besides your story, which is enough, there was a story of a child that you had mentioned that really was just not connected to the world. And really it was like flipping a light switch as soon as that guy got this. Maybe you could share that story, because people need to know, because it's really all about the difference you make in people's lives. Otherwise, everything's boring and transactional.
Absolutely. I guess it was a couple months ago, and I got a call from one of our providers, and she said, one of my patients would like to talk to you. And I'm like, really, why? She said she needs to share what's happening with her son. And this is why I do what I do, the following story. I have been given permission to share the story. 28-year-old autistic young man that the mother has spent her entire life trying to support him, alternative therapies, you name it. She's done a lot. She would say there is a YouTube interview. Please feel free to go watch it with her because she wanted to share. He was nonverbal. He was OCD, panic attacks, a lot of stimming, etc. And literally, she said it took her almost 2 years to try the product. She tried it first, and then she decided to do this with her son. The reason that she was apprehensive is she had tried this supplement and this thing and that thing and all of these different therapies. And she said every single time that she would try a supplement, within a week or two, it would create the absolute opposite effect. So, and I think the thing is they weren't hitting all of these areas that they needed to hit. But let's talk about what happened. She said within a matter of days, his stature changed. Within 2.5 weeks, and I will tell you, nonverbal. He was nonverbal, single words. Within 2.5 weeks, he started speaking full sentences to his mother. He started telling her how busy and loud it's been in his brain. I mean, what a difference. The panic attacks, she says, are, instead of daily, it's once every 2 to 3 weeks. He's not having them like he was. She told me at 2.5 months, they had done a Nutri-Eval from Genova Diagnostics prior to him starting, and they wanted to do it again. And I said, I think I'd give it a little bit more time. But the results were night and day difference after 2.5 months. I think his ability to detox had been at a 5 or a 7 on that panel, and his methylation, it's how they were at 0. That means they were optimum. She said that she's looking at this child. It was always, she's like, I'm getting older. How are we going to support him? But now she's looking at it going, what's going to be possible for him? He's communicating. He's enjoying life different. And then finally, the doctor's office called me a couple weeks ago. They've been seeing him for 3 years. They said he walked into the clinic, has never spoke to anybody, and walked up to the front desk and said, hi, how are you today?
Wow.
I mean, I can't say it like the mother says it, but when she was telling me this, I mean, I was literally in tears listening to the joy. And we're going on months now. He hasn't fallen into a methyl trap, as she would call it, or he just continues to improve. We're helping him at a cellular level, and there's connections. I mean, he's speaking, he's communicating, he's not having some of the reactions to other stressors that he's had before. It's just beautiful. And when you hear those stories, we get stories on so many different things. And I think that's what's so important. I want people to know you are an individual. You need to be addressed as an individual. Personalization is the future. I'm not saying that SNiP nutrigenomics is the end all be all, but we are you at a foundational level of your own genetics. And that's what's so very powerful.
That's so great. I mean, I think everybody was right there with you with that story. And, as you bring it up, just I thought I'd throw this question in there because it comes up, which is how young can an individual do the test, and how young can an individual take the supplement?
Okay. Oh, that's a great question. So anybody can do anybody can do the genetic test. A parent would just sign the consent for them. We have been given approval to be able to customize for 13 and up. However, if you are working with a provider, you would work directly. We're not going to dose for a child. We are not going to. We're not. You know how it changes at 2, at this, etc. However, if you are working with a provider, such as somebody at Cohn Institute, you could take a look at what their customized formula will look like, and you would be able to say, this is the adult dose, and you're going to take less based on yours. That's something that you would work directly with your provider on.
Okay, good. And so, yeah, so most people can figure that out on their own, and which is another reason you want a provider that does genetic testing, is familiar with genetic testing, because you can't talk about something you don't know anything about. So, and I do love your educational stuff. You put a lot of things up. You do weekly things, monthly things, that your community has a culture to it where people are sharing stories and things and advances, changes, how they're sharing it, and I know you've made it possible for these people. Once somebody is excited about something because it's changed their life, they want to share it with other people. I know you created an affiliate program that people can partake in, which is really great, generous, all that kind of stuff. So I also want to thank you too for, if you're not a VIP with the BioStacking Summit, BioStacking 4.0, you definitely want to be, just for this alone. So it's already as inexpensive as possible to get this test. It's $297, but you're given a VIP offer for a limited period of time, because the universe rewards the action step. Because you wait 9 months, you have a tumor growing out your head, and go, maybe I should do that genetic test. Come on. Get to it. Find out now. See what's possible. And get on a nutrition and see what's possible there as well. But you're given $50 off the test. We're going to run that through the summit, and then shortly after, probably up until we run the next summit. But let's say less than 90 days. But so you want to do it right out of the gate, and then there'll be a way for you to get that information through a link or QR code to make that happen. So you might as well be a VIP anyway, because that's about the price of the average VIP for most people. So any final words for this part, why we have this audience of doctors, patients, clients, enthusiasts, health enthusiasts, other people looking, other genetic companies looking? What's Kim talking about? The whole group is out there watching right now.
The whole group.
Anything you want to share with anybody?
Perfect. Okay, so in closing,
Yes.
your genetics are you. If you are looking for longevity, health span, you're wanting to live your best, and you want to biohack yourself. I mean, your summit, BioStacking. That is what I talk about. Multiple modalities. I'm a simple step in your nutrition protocol is what I am. If you are not using genetics and you're scared to step into them, I make it simple for providers to step into them. You don't need to go spend thousands of dollars becoming certified on things that you're never going to apply to your customer or to your patients. That is what we do. We make it simple for providers, patients, consumers to understand at a high level strengths, weaknesses, and simply support at the genetic level. So I just believe, and I will say it over and over, if you are not looking at genetics to get to root cause of problems, you need to step into it. You've got to step into this. It is absolutely crucial. We are headed down that path of personalization, and that's what genetics is going to help open the door for you.
There it is. You heard it. SNiP Nutrition, Kim Ressler, the one and only Robin Hooding genetic testing, as well as customized nutrition from genetic testing. And we appreciate your time and energy. I mean, we were just together in Nashville. You're in Kansas City today. You're off to Chicago. This woman's on a mission, folks. She is getting in front of people and letting them know that she has something special that's life-changing. And it warms my heart that these doctors and practitioners are opening up and go, I wanted to do something with genetics. I didn't know where to interface. Every time I started looking, it was too complicated, too ridiculous, or too expensive, or the results were like, they didn't move the bar and nothing changed. So all of those things are happening at SNiP. So appreciate you, Godspeed, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cohn.